Hey guys, so tonight I want to talk to you in the capacity of former Soviet citizen. Granted, I was very young when we left, when my parents and I left the Soviet Union. But my parents grew up, spent the first 33 years of their lives in that place. We lived in Ukraine, but Ukraine was part of the Soviet Union. And so basically there was a time where what my parents experienced, or rather what we are experiencing today in America, is similar to what my parents experienced back then. It was in the end of the 70s, in the end of the 1970s, a man by the name of Leonid Brezhnev, who was already, he had a stroke and he was already basically not really, excuse me, he wasn't the leader. I mean, he was officially the leader, but he wasn't really the person who was running the show in the Soviet Union. And the guy basically wasn't all there, and everybody knew that he wasn't all there. By everybody, I mean, I don't know, 90 or 95% of the country. And the only people who got upset when you came to them and told them that he's not all there, and that he should not be, that the leader's not all there. It's not that he shouldn't be. You couldn't really tell him that he should step down because there was no stepping down, right? There were no real elections. So those people were like the die-hard supporters, the die-hard. In Russian we call them savki, right? And of course the government basically did what they did with suppressing anything and manipulating. So that was that. They put him on TV. They made it seem like everything was okay. He stumbled and fumbled through his speeches. This is Brezhnev now. And people just couldn't do anything. And a lot of people were demoralized, A friend of mine asked me, why didn't people say anything? A lot of people were demoralized. They're like, what are you going to do? You live in a dictatorship, basically, right? You're living in a dystopian illusionary society. So, and now we fast forward, America 2024. Actually, America 2020 through 2024, or 2021, let's say, January through 2024, and everyone can see the people who you come to them and you say, look, there's a problem here. This guy can't go on like this. Some people said, actually, yeah, we know there's a problem, but we'd rather have this problem, or basically a stool, a piece of furniture, than the orange alternative. That's literally what these people would say. So, but everybody knew there's a problem, and the media and the people handling this so-called problem lie and lie and lie and lie and lie. They have to keep up the lie. They all knew from the very beginning. They all knew that they're using this guy, and behind him were the real operators, just like in the Soviet Union, folks. And in the Soviet Union, we didn't have real elections either, folks. I mean, we didn't have real election, right? You know that things were brought in at 4 o'clock in the morning. You know that things were connected to the internet. I mean, windows were barricaded. Things were stuffed. Things were brought. IP addresses from various countries. USB sticks, which were caught on camera. Signed affidavits from people who were watching the polls, which were not. None of these testimonies were covered in media. I don't have to get into it, guys. We know the story. So Folks, take it from the son of Soviet refuseniks, dissidents. This is the playbook of Bolsheviks. This is how they operate. They gaslight, they lie, they cheat, they steal, they pretend like nothing's wrong, they lie about it, they vilify anybody who calls it out, calls out something so glaringly obvious to anybody with, like who can see. And now they're finally like, oh, but we don't know, but maybe, but this, but that. Folks, I mean, we understand that this is now what you've seen for the past 2 weeks is a WWF or WWE, what's called KFAB, like wrestling, professional wrestling, kind of scenario. Everybody's playing their roles, everybody's pretending to be this and that. We understand. Anybody with discernment can understand, right? Folks, take it from a person who grew up in a former Soviet family, parents who lived through this stuff, who, as soon as they see it, can tell you all about it. This is straight out of the Bolshevik playbook, my friends. Straight out of the Bolshevik playbook. And now, as predicted, just as was done over there back then, they are allowing him, his wheels to come off. They're just letting him disintegrate. They're letting him fall apart as everybody else is watching. Some of the people are upset that, this was done to him. Some of the people are like, they don't really care. A friend of mine asked me, why would they do this? Why would they let him go through this whole charade and this kin caboodle? I said, dude, because they're FUCKS. He's like, so what? I'm like, they don't care. They used him from the very beginning. He was like a piece of cardboard to them. You're not getting it. Folks, to them, to Bolsheviks, the ends justify the means. They have no scruples. They have no shame. They are going to lie to you. And they're gonna have a smirk on their face, just like all those people. You remember the election night last time? Those ladies in Michigan and all those, what do they call them? Secretaries of State of different states, Michigan, different, Pennsylvania, with a smirk on their face. We gotcha. What are you gonna do about it? And anybody who said anything, folks, the media didn't cover anything. There were hours of hearings, folks. Hours and hours of hearings. Hours. Signed affidavits from poll watchers. Like, just hours upon hours. Nothing was covered. And I'm not talking about just Mr. Giuliani and how they made fun of him on SNL, of course. I'm talking about from actual regular people like you and me. Poll workers, yeah. And I'm not even mentioning, again, testimony from, cybersecurity experts about all the IP addresses that were literally connected to the internet in these machines, these schmaminian machines, folks. And they're gonna lie to you as long as it takes. Listen, the good part is they still have to create some sort of illusion of legitimacy because they know that the system that we have here, is not like the Soviet Union, meaning you have people who can talk. We have the internet, we have social media. We're allowed to say things, right? Yeah, we get shadow banned and we get played with and we get screwed with, we get banned, we get chastised, whatever it is. But ultimately, for the most part, right? People are not, they're not going to have the government, the KGB come to your house or the FBI or CIA come to your house and arrest you for saying certain things. Well, at least, 99% of people are not. Unless your name is Roger Stone. And they know that. So they know they have to lie and gaslight. But folks, make no mistake. This is the calling card of the Bolsheviks. This is exactly what they're doing now. Brezhnev Part 2. And they know that you know. Well, how did it go? What did Solzhenitsyn say? We know they're lying. They know we know we're lying. They know that we know that they know we're lying. Something like that. You know, it just keeps going on. This whole like verbal matryoshka, as I like to call it. And everybody knows, right? The question is anybody going to do anything about it? Well, my friends, let's see what happens. We're either going to overwhelm them. They're going to cheat again. We're either going to overwhelm them. And then when we overwhelm them with our numbers, by overwhelm I mean at the ballot box. I don't know what you're thinking. And then we're going to see, as my Israeli friend likes to say, what's cooking. Or we're not going to overwhelm them, and this 250-year experiment is all over. And it's been a nice ride. And, you know, for us Jews, I guess we got to go home. Either way, we should go home. That's a different conversation. Anyway, guys, that's my words as a former Soviet citizen, and guess I'll see you at the convention. Peace.